recording. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, earthlings, peeplings everywhere. I hope you're all having a nice Sunday. Today, I want to talk about how Harry does one thing and then says another, which we all know. But you'd be surprised how many people out there go along with their ridiculous narratives. Now, a lot of people ask me, why bother talking about Meghan all the time? Well, I'll explain in short. It's basically to make a record and to put straight all the, how should we put it, inaccuracies that happen. So let's deal with a few inaccuracies, just a few, because if I was going to deal with all of the inaccuracies in a video, I think we'd be here all day, wouldn't we? Right, now, on Graham's channel, those of you who saw it, thank you again to the lovely Christy who sent the tiaras. I was explaining that I came across a woman called Tina. I don't know if this is the Tina or another Tina, I don't know. It's a woman of colour who had made a video stating that she is the chairman of Meghan's fan club and that she is not happy because Meghan didn't send her any jam. She didn't get a drop, as she refers to it. She calls Meghan the Duchess of Successful. I think that's what she's trying to say. And that she and the board members of Meghan's fan club had a meeting at headquarters and a lot of them were not happy. Interesting. Well, firstly, it sounds like the maggots have been markled, doesn't it? I was going to do a video review of it. I've uploaded it onto my channel and got it as unlisted. And I've tried to get it up on the TV, logged into my account, but it just won't show. And I can't just release it because it's unedited and she would strike me for that. I'm certain of that. And then, now I found this woman on X. She's a TikToker, but I found this actual video on X on her account, which appears to be verified with a blue tick, which of course anyone can pay for. And I found her because she was mingling with our little group of maggots. And I thought, this is interesting. I retweeted it. Well, I uploaded her video on X, of course. And there's been much debate and comment on that. Now, as I was screen recording it, it then flicked automatically into another guy who's another TikToker, a man of colour, so to speak. And it was a very short video of his, and he asked or made 3 ridiculous statements in favour of Meghan. I can't remember verbatim, but I'm going to give you an essence of them. The first one was that we, the British public, and he calls us heifers, as in cows. I don't know if he's trying to say we're fat or we're a bunch of cows, but he calls us heifers. Now, heifer, that's a term this time last year that a lot of our maggots were using. You heifer this. They used to say to me, you're so fat like a heifer, you couldn't get out your front door. That's sort of along those lines. I can't remember the exact thing. And I just thought, what the hell are you talking about? So we heifers, we bastards basically, in Britain, Great Britain, we asked Meghan to leave. Wrong. Nobody asked her to leave. Me personally, I was greatly relieved when they did, along with the person in Buckingham Palace who was quoted as saying, there was a collective sigh of relief. But no one asked her to leave. Harry had a tantrum, flounced out. They released a statement without even giving the Queen, or at the time the Prince of Wales, a chance to answer or deal with it. Just released a statement. Didn't they make a great big Netflix show about how they left Freedom Flight? So, sorry, dude, whoever the hell you are. I don't know who this guy is. No one asked her to leave. Well, also, personally, I think they were thrown out behind the scenes. But the official story that Meghan and Harry have always maintained, and all their little lapdogs, is that they left of their own volition. So do you see how these facts get twisted? And unless there are YouTube channels and people on Facebook, I suppose, and X, who challenge this and say, well, wait a minute, I think I've got a little bit of evidence that proves that's utter bullshit. The second thing was, we told her not to use her title, so she stopped. Yes, she's been asked in the Sandringham Summit to not use the title, not monetize it. They're not allowed to use the HRH, but no, you don't monetize the title. So she stopped. Wrong. Dude, whoever this guy is on TikTok, you want to check out her Instagram? Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. You want to check out her affiliate links to some beige stuff? So that's completely wrong. Number 3, we told her to earn her own money, and she's doing that now. No, nobody told her to earn her own money. Nobody did that. Literally zero. I would refer this dude to the Sussex's own statement, where they said they wanted to leave the royal family so they could find financial independence. So do you see, I know I get the point when a lot of people say, when you make videos about how you're giving her airtime, all publicity is good publicity. Firstly, I've worked in marketing for over 20 years. And no, there's no such thing as that statement, all publicity is good publicity. No. Ask Prince Andrew about that one. That is not the case. So the attention that I'm giving her is pointing out a few inconvenient facts. Now, this isn't Meghan who said this. He's quite a young guy. I guess he's late 20s, early 30s. But I mean, if this guy truly believes that, and he says it with conviction, can you not see there need to be more people coming forward to put the record straight? Because the mainstream media seem a little slow, if at all, although they're catching on. Now, the reason that, apart from seeing that yesterday, I then see this morning that Harry apparently has said that he feels Sentebale was ripped away from him. Whoa, dude, Windsor, no, you resigned. You resigned. Nothing was ripped away from you. Oh my God. So I thought I'd tell you a bit of a story because yesterday, I've been moving stuff to the boat and collecting stuff from the boat to come to the house to wash and clean, etc., etc. It's ongoing here. And I found this rather amusing thing. I've been going through some of Graham's papers. I found this really amusing thing that he'd written down. Now, years ago, we had a company saboteur at Dolphin Safari. I mean, the guy was he worked in the office, he was positively trying to destroy the company from within. And Graham had written this list. Let's call this guy John. John's to-do list. Number 1, alienate and fire all the best sales staff. Number 2, call the police on all boat masters so Dolphin Safari has no longer any captains who can drive the dolphin boat. The guy did do things like that. He actually called the police on one of our skippers who was doing 4 knots down the side of the runway behind a police boat. And the reason, how we knew it was this guy, this fellow captain phoned me up and complained and said, because this John was doing a lot of sabotage. He said, I think it's that little git who's phoned up the police. And I said, how would he know whether you're speeding or not anyway? And the boat has an AIS system on it, which goes to a satellite, so you can see the speed of the boat, 4 knots. Anyway, I went straight into the office, went to the fax phone, hit redial, beep, 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 beep. Hello, this is Gibraltar Marine Police. How can I help you? Thank you. You just did. Clunk. To which I said, John, why have you been ringing the Marine Police? I mean, he did things like that. And he had a girlfriend who was equally venomous. Eventually, I left. I just left Dolphin Safari. I had warned my bosses for months. All the staff had. We'd lost most of the really good sales staff. He had done so much damage. So I just left. I talked to a neighbour of mine in the marina where our boat is, and they said to me, Fiona, you're never going to win because he's pulled the wool over your boss's eyes. Best thing you can do is just leave and leave them to it. So I did. And I embarked on a website course. I already knew how to make websites, but I thought, well, I'll use my time, I'll get into that sort of thing. Well, it was only a short 4 weeks later. During that 4 weeks, Graham also left. I mean, I never encouraged him, I had no influence over that at all. He just said to the bosses, as long as this John is in the office, I'm not going to work here. And the other skipper had already left, along with a ton of other staff. So Graham left and he said, just call me when the guy's gone. So I think after 3 weeks of me not being there, then Graham left. And so he was at home. And I'm carrying on with my course. Anyway, in Gibraltar, when someone is working for a company, it has to be registered with the government. You can't just give someone a job. It's called working on the black, and it's a big no-no, and it's a small place. And they had put this John in charge of registering workers. Well, he'd employed some woman to be sales on the quayside and had deliberately not registered her. Now, how do I know deliberately? Oh, yeah, I'll come to that. He then promptly reported our employers to the labour inspectors and said, there's an unregistered worker. How do I know that? I'll come to that. So my bosses, the upshot was they had to pay a £3,000 fine. Now this John and his girlfriend flounced out. The day the labour inspectors turned up, I guess he just shit himself and thought, even for him, this was really fronty. One of my bosses pursued him and said, where are you going? Why are you running out? Why are you running away? I need you in the office. And his girlfriend said, he's leaving because of Fiona. Fiona, who had left the company 4 weeks earlier because I couldn't bear to watch what was going on. Oh, so it was all my fault. Oh, right. I wasn't even working there. Naughty Fiona. Anyway, well, I found out about this because a couple of days after he flounced out, my bosses phoned me up and said, please, can you come in and change all the passwords? Because there was a lot of damage. I mean, there was money that was shifted from the PayPal. There was a lot of shit. So I went in and changed the passwords, and I sat down at a desk. There's a laptop there. I opened the laptop and I thought, oh, that's really weird. I'm logged into my Facebook. I haven't been here for 4 weeks. Good gracious. And I thought, I don't normally log into Facebook. I did use Facebook back then. This is how many years ago it was. Then I looked again and all these messages started to pop up. And they were from ex-employees talking to this John. And I looked again and I thought, it's not my Facebook. It's his Facebook account. He flounced out in such a hurry, he forgot to log himself out. Well, at this point, my bosses were having a big meeting with this lady about how they were about to go into a meeting with the labour inspectors. And I said, excuse me, guys, is one of the employees that there's a big doodah about, is this his name? And they went, yeah, why? I said, because John's left himself logged into Facebook. And John says, let's say the guy's called Daniel. Hi, Daniel. Don't worry, I took copies of loads of documents before I left. I think we've got them stitched up. This is what you need to say to the labour inspectors. Doesn't matter if it's true. To which this Daniel replied, yeah, sure thing, John. Thanks for all your help. I'm going to see if I can get some loads of compo out of this. And then there were more messages from more. Well, you can imagine the scene, can't you? Me, both my bosses, and this lady who'd come in to help them legally. And all four of us are just staring and watching this activity, a message after message after message after message coming up about how this guy had deliberately employed people, not registered them, and then reported Tim and Conchi to labour inspectors. I mean, it was incredulous, but it was all my fault. Right, bad behaviour. It was my fault. Isn't it interesting how these people are like that? Oh, speaking of things that are not people's faults, Daniel, the crying makeup artist, apparently said, you come for my friends, I'll come for you. Right, so he's referring to his attack on According to Taz. Sorry, Daniel, has Taz ever laughed at people with cancer? No, I don't think so. Has Taz ever threatened to kill anybody? No, I don't think so. Has Taz done any of the disgusting things that the maggots have done? No, I don't think so, dude. So shut your little pie hole. I think everybody knows what he is, and I think his career is finished. Now, this is my last point, and quite an interesting one, actually, because I've just been watching The Royal Grift. Now that oh my God, I love that YouTuber. She comes out with so much information. I learned so much. I did not know that Bethany Frankel, before the Oprah interview and after, had tweeted something about, Crimea River, Meghan, Meghan and Harry, against Meghan and Harry. I didn't know that. And I equally did not know that Bethany said that an A+++++ lister approached her, said to her, you need to take that tweet down and you need to post an apology to Meghan Markle. I didn't know any of that. Now, the Royal Grift has her own theories on who that A+++++ lister could be. And Bethany did actually say, I'll give you one guess. If you don't get it in one guess, I'm not giving you any more clues. Well, me personally, Royal Griff thinks it was a particular person. I think it was Harry. And now I'm thinking of all those ex-employees, the revolving door, the PR people, when they leave, insiders say they left under a cloud. And then like a week later, they tend to issue a statement saying, that's not true, we left amicably. Oh, I loved working with Meghan, she was so kind. And now I'm thinking, they must all have had an email from Harry. That's how it looks to me now. Oh, I beg of you, Dr. Sophie, please do release that email. Please, there's talk that Harry should live in fear of it. Hold him to account, Dr. Sophie. Although I think what Dr. Sophie's doing is strategically very clever. She's got the threat over him do you see what I mean? If once she releases that, then she no longer has the ammunition, and she's clearly a very strategic and clever lady. Utterly lethal, as I said from the beginning. Whatever she is dangerous. Certainly for Brain of Britain, Windsor. And why is Dr. Sophie doing all of this? Because a lot of people, they say, why not just leave? Well, if she had just left, like as I suspect a lot of other people have, and she'd issued this, oh no, I loved working with Harry and Sentebale, and oh, Meghan was just great and there was no problem, she would basically end up with a cloud over her wherever she goes in the future for any other career. So of course she's got to stand her ground, and quite right too, because if she's not in the wrong, why should she leave? Why should she issue apologies? Oh, Windsor, oh, you feel it was ripped away from you? You ripped it away from yourself. You did that big statement because you were trying to exert power over Sophie and force her hand. And oh boy, you forced her hand. My advice, Windsor, don't play poker. And ever, anywhere, with anybody. Just don't do it, okay? Certainly not strip poker, because we all know how that one's going to end. As always, I leave you with those thoughts on a Sunday. Have you ever known people like this? I mean, and I will tell you one other thing. I locked myself out of the bloody house last night. Oh my God. It was about 10 o'clock at night. As I say, I've been moving stuff from the boat and the house and stuff. I'd just gone to the car, slammed the front door, put some stuff in the car, went back to the house. Oh my God. Well, this house really is a fortress because my neighbours are lovely. I went to one of my neighbours and I said, oh my God, I've locked myself out. Have you got an escalator? Where were those women when I needed them, with the 30-foot ladder? And he said, no, I haven't got a big enough one. You got to have, one of those double folding 30-foot ladders. And he said, none of the other neighbours have got one. My cousin, who lives quite far away, but I mean, I don't know, it's a Saturday night. I don't know if he can bring it. So there you go. It wasn't a neighbour's ladder, clearly, was it, that the women had? Anyway, he said to me, well, what are you going to do if you get into the garden? I went, well, I don't know, because the garden doors are locked. And then I said, well, they're all glass, and then I might break the glass. And he said, let me go and have a look at the front door. Luckily, I had not locked the gate. Well, obviously I hadn't locked the gate because I didn't have the bloody keys. Well, he phoned a locksmith who, bless him, came out within 15 minutes, and he took one look at my front door and he went, oh, this is going to be complicated. This is not an easy house to get in, as many Spanish homes aren't. Well, 110 euros later, he got into the house, bless him. And God bless my neighbours. They're wonderful. And so I'm in the house, pay the guy, and I cannot find the door keys. And I thought, well, shit, I didn't want to tell the locksmith that, and I didn't want to tell my neighbour that. I just thought, well, if I can't find the keys, I'm trapped in the house. I can't go out. And Benji's not around at the moment. He comes back tonight. He's been with his girlfriend. And I just thought, oh my God. And then I thought, I wonder if I left them in the boot of the car. After all that, 110 euros later, loads of stress, I'd put them down when I had the boot open. I'd put them in the boot so I could have my hands free to get the other bags in. Oh, what an idiot I am. Complete idiot. But I tell you what, I slept very, very soundly last night because even having a professional locksmith struggled to get into the house. And he was like, oh my God, it's one of those locks. And luckily it was only the one lock on the door, because of course once I'm in, all the bolts, chains and extra locks go on. And my neighbour proudly saying to me, oh, I remember the guy who was in the house before, he made that front door, it's such a great, and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it's a great front door, it's brilliant, unless I haven't got my keys and I can't get in. So I leave you with that amusing thought. As always, may your God go with you.